'Twas the night before match day, and all through the house, plenty of creatures stirring, but with three cats, ain't no mouse. The podcast is on, and Philly and Laugh are here to give you the match day preview as the game grows near. Midweek melee in the city of LA with a promotion night of wonders for Hello Kitty. 10,000 little plushies for those that get there early. And I don't care if my jersey looks girly. I'm excited as hell for something so pretty. Can't wait to get me another Hello Kitty. But more importantly, our team needs a win because losing at home to the Rapids would be quite the sin. So before you lay in bed and start counting sheep, let's begin another episode of One More Sleep. That's right, Defenders, back here for another preview pod. My name's Christian Philemon, better known as the Platinum-Haired Flamingo, and joining me in lieu of the scarf, but not because he's on the loo, because he actually had stuff to do, I give you one, Chris Lafferty.
I am back in the saddle again, baby. Oh, Philly, I am so pumped to be back. Last time I joined you on one of these was for the recap of the Club World Cup game where I picked up this scarf that I actually need to give the scarf tomorrow. But look, I'm fired up. I'm so ready to be back. I'm ready to be back at BMO tomorrow. And don't worry, I already promised to give my Hello Kitty to somebody else because they wanted it and can't make it on time. But I knew you'd have us covered with the Hello Kitty dolls anyway. I don't want to cramp your style, my friend, but welcome back to One More Sleep.
Thanks, man. It's good to be back. I feel like I haven't done One More Sleep in forever. And the reason why I know that is because I had no idea how to pull up the Google Slides doc or how to do any of the logistical stuff. I took 20 or so seconds to begin this darn pod because I was trying to get the Instagram thing up and running. Wild. I forgot how to do this. You're right, Chris. We haven't been back to BMO in quite some time. I haven't been back to BMO in quite some time. In this game between us and the Rapids, it's only game number, 19 of our MLS season. But who's counting, right? I don't even think that's necessarily the right number because we still got plenty of games to catch up on. But a game that we needed to play on May the 31st, we finally get to do it. And the crazy thing about it is we're given all these dates, all these changes and fluctuation. We got 4 games in hand. Can you believe that we haven't won a game since June 8th? Isn't that wild? We beat Sporting Kansas City. But since then, we've played 4 games, 3 in the FIFA Club World Cup with 2 losses and a draw, and then a loss to start the regular season versus the Vancouver Whitecaps, which, by the way, we were the only one of the 3 SoCal teams, us, obviously, the Galaxy and San Diego FC, to not beat a severely undermanned Whitecaps team. That's kind of gross and, well, it's kind of wild.
Well, look, you know what else happened back on June 8th? You mentioned that was the date of our last win. That was when I sang happy birthday to myself, but I just had to throw that in. I'm still celebrating over here. No, look, it's been a state of flux. It feels like for LAFC coming in recently. We're kind of guys are coming and going. We lost a handful of guys since June 8th. And well, I think that we're still trying to maybe figure a lot of things out. Something we're going to talk about later on as far as with our players to watch and our keys to the game. A lot of that's going to factor into it. But hey, anyway, in the spirit of One More Sleep, I got to ask you, man, how have you been sleeping? You got a lot. You got a lot on your plate still, my man.
Yeah, anytime I think I'm going to get myself a breather, something else piles up. And you know what? It's not the worst thing. It's what I've wanted to do. I'm sitting here eagerly getting all my notes together for TBT because I'm going to be traveling to Wichita, Kansas next Thursday. I'm going to be doing 7 broadcasts with 3 of them between FS1 and FS2 and then the rest on YouTube for in that regional for the TBT. For those unaware, that's the parent company of the TST, the soccer tournament, TBT meaning the basketball tournament, the granddaddy of them all, the 12th one. And it should be a good one. Probably a good idea that they didn't send me to Indianapolis, Chris, because if they would have ever gotten any Homer broadcasting there, it would have been me cheering on while calling games for Assembly Ball. But it'll be awesome. We have Forever Cougs in my regional. They were the runners-up at TBT last year. I've got Austin Zone, a team full of former Texas Longhorns and Texas Christian Horned Frogs. A lot of really cool stuff. I'm excited to get back to broadcasting basketball. So yes, I've been busy and when I get back, it'll only be a couple of weeks before college soccer starts, which, by the way, folks, we're going to be promoting the heck out of UC Riverside men and women's college soccer. I'll be back on the call play-by-play for both the men and the women, men and the women on ESPN Plus. As far as who my analyst is concerned, we'll figure that one out, but tuning in a couple of parties that y'all know. So long story long, and as I'm stuttering and as I'm tired, I've been busy, and one more sleeps. I'm hardly getting any sleep.
Well, Philly, I brought that up about your schedule and the TBT, knowing that you're coming fresh off of the TST and some big news for them coming out. Hey, I know we didn't talk about me talking about this with you today, but I wanted to just throw it out there. Big news for TST, and I think a lot of that goes to the success that all the viewers, or the success of the tournament, because of the viewership experience. No small part, though, I'd say credited to you and the broadcast team there. So congratulations on the big news today for TST.
Yeah, partnering up with United States Soccer. I scratch my head and I wonder if that would mean that they would start a TBT kind of a league. And if so, maybe that'd be another awesome broadcasting gig to get a hold of. Because obviously, at the end of the day, my goal hasn't always been to be a full-time sports broadcaster. And I'm getting close. I think I've somewhere between 120 and 130 games called just in 2025. So it's been a lot. And a lot of podcasts, too. Not as many Defenders of the Bank episodes as I would have liked to have been on, but you're going to be making your debut on Soccer in 60 tomorrow, so that'll be good. Make sure you check out Chris Lafferty, not tomorrow, on Thursday at 4 p.m. I've even lost track of days, but we're talking about all our fun stuff and patting ourselves on the back, and this is good stuff. And I guess don't forget to vote for us on Fabian Frankel's Twitter about who your favorite podcasters are on the MLS space. I'd say, I'm not one to tout or toot our own horns, but we've been at this for a while, and it's created a lot of really cool things for all of us. This Little Defenders podcast, an income generator, a career booster. I would say that makes me feel confident saying we're one of the damn best podcasts across the country in pretty much any soccer genre.
You know who might agree with that, Philly? The Millions.
And millions. That's right. Well, we can't waste their time anymore, Chris. Let's get into things. The Colorado Rapids. This will be the 15th meeting of all time in all competitions against our friends. And I hope I don't jinx this. I hope the soccer gods aren't feeling sarcastic as of late, but we're 7-0-0 at home against Colorado, 8-5-1 overall. And yeah, we met up with them earlier in the season in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. We beat them, and we got kind of lucky, to be quite honest with you. And Colorado, kind of a team that's hit or miss, but some very talented players.
Yeah, some really talented players that some of them we'll talk about with our players to watch. But, think about it. When we played Colorado earlier in the season, like you mentioned in the CONCACAF tournament in the opening round, remember that was back in February. And the first game was in Colorado in about 20 degree weather. I don't want to know what it was with the wind chill, but man, I'll tell you what, our guys were frozen. So I'm sure they'll be plenty happy to be playing against these guys in the LA summer.
Yeah, I mean, Mother Nature hasn't done us some favors as far as the winter is concerned, but despite that awful stuff that happened in Texas, my heart goes out to the families that were affected within those Texas floods. Our game against Austin got rescheduled, which was unfortunate, obviously, because I'm sure a lot of us were planning on catching a watch party and enjoying a day of LAFC. But what advantage that does give us is the fact that we finally got some time to chill. Now we have some fresh legs. We've had game after game after game, and finally some time to kind of reboot, reassess, and reacclimate. So I would say right off the bat, that really puts us in an advantage against the Colorado Rapids team that has obviously kept things going over the course of the Major League Soccer season. But, they've played 4 more games than us. They've won the same amount of games. They've drawn the same amount of games, but they've lost far more games than we have. We've only lost 5. They've lost 9, allowed 24 goals, 430 against. So this is a team on the cusp of the playoffs. Don't want to say that they're a bad team, but in their last 5 games, not very good. They had 1 win against the Galaxy, 3 losses, most recently to Sporting Kansas City, and a draw. You want to talk about a poor run of form? Colorado Rapids haven't been on a great run of form, but as I'm reading this to you, Chris, something just occurred to me that in our last 5 games, we've kind of had the same record. We've had ourselves a few losses, 3 to be exact, going to the FIFA Club World Cup. Still a draw, and then we had that win against Sporting Kansas City before we went into the FIFA Club World Cup. So we're actually riding the same kind of momentum as the Rapids. Granted that our bad run of form has been on a much more global stage in the FIFA Club World Cup than the Colorado Rapids, but I would still give us the advantage in terms of it, at very least having the fresh legs.
Yeah, I'll give it the advantage to us too. I mean, look, I feel really confident about our guys, and the big thing that we talked about was, yeah, our bad stretch came with a bunch of losses in the Club World Cup, and a draw in the Club World Cup. But hey, that was in the Club World Cup, so not a bad showing, compared to Colorado. If they're putting up the same kind of numbers and records that we were, but playing against far less inferior talent than we were, I think that we're on our track to recover. And like we talked about during the FIFA Club World Cup, was that it was experience for us. It was good learning experience, and I think now that we're back, once we're starting to get it back in form and figure some things out and get some chemistry and get the lineup set, I mean, what are we going to do? Be afraid to take on Colorado? No, I mean, look, we're not afraid to take on anyone after what we just went through in Atlanta, Orlando, and Nashville. So I feel good about it, even though on paper, you got to look in the standings. Colorado's in 9th. We're in 7th. I think we have the same amount of points at 26. So you look at it and go, oh, maybe this is pretty an even matchup coming in. But I got to give us the advantage, man. I think that we're coming in strong, and I think we're going to come in and kind of reclaim our spot in the West, and I think we're going to reclaim our identity beginning tomorrow.
Well, we got a lot of ground to make up, that's for sure. So as nice as it's been to have at least some time off, we're going to get back to a congested schedule because most teams are at 21 games played. We've played 17 with this being number 18. But, without further ado, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this podcast. Our players to watch. So hopefully I remember how to do this. Aha! All right, there we go. All right, Chris. I'm glad that graphic is still there because I wouldn't have the slightest freaking clue how to do what that says right there for those listening. Scarf's name's crossed out. In goes Lafferty. Laugh, talk to us about your players to watch.
All right, for Colorado, I picked Georgi Mihailovic, and here's the reason why. He's their top goal scorer, and with his leader in assists as well. Is that right? Anyway, he's got leading definitely in goal scores for Colorado. He's one of their midfielders. He's got 8 goals on the season and 2 assists, so accounting for 10 points. But look, I mean, he's somebody that we're going to have to watch out for, and I think the big reason why, not just because he's their leading goal scorer, but because our defense just got shaken up where Marlon is no longer, he's part of our history now. So that's going to be a change on our back line. And I got to watch, I want to see how our guys on our back line kind of respond and gel a little bit now after having gotten used to having Marlon back there. So will Colorado's leading goal scoring threat take advantage of maybe our not lack of chemistry, but the changes that we've had to make in front of net to protect Hugo Lloris? So we're going to have to see about that. I think he's going to be their biggest threat tomorrow, and it's about whether or not our guys can neutralize him and make up for any unfamiliarity back in the back line there. But for our guys, Ryan Hollingshead. Here's why I chose Ryan. The big talk has been about the departure of Olivier Giroud in the last couple weeks and who would step up. Everyone's talking, this is the time for Nathan Ordaz to solidify his spot. This is a time for David Martinez to show us what he's got. This is a time for both of those guys to really elevate their game and to take control, take some pressure off of Bouanga. Bouanga is going to be a big threat as well already, but that's where Colorado's defense is going to start centralizing all their pressure on those 3 guys. They're gonna look to shut down Martinez and kind of kill some of his confidence. They're gonna look to take down Ordaz and not let him get physical with everybody. And they're gonna do their damnedest to try to to try to control Denny Bwanga if that's possible. But look, what that's going to do is that's going to leave a big opening for a sneaky scoring threat like Ryan Hollingshead coming off the wings to really give and I think he's going to start. He's going to finally notch another goal and become the leading defender for defenders in MLS. I think he's going to surpass that record, and I just think that Ryan Hollingshead is going to be the guy who takes advantage of Colorado's focus not being on him and being tightly on the other guys up front.
I like it. Just to address some questions in the chat, the only injury that we saw as far as LAFC was concerned on the media report that was distributed tonight was a Maxime Chanot head injury. As far as Colorado is concerned, we won't be seeing any Zach Steffen. He's out with a knee, as is Alex Harris with an ankle, and then Sam Vines a groin. I'm telling you, 2 years ago when I was buying those MLS cards, if there are any players that I repeatedly saw when I opened packs, Sam Vines and Cole Bassett. I swear I have like 20 cards of each of those players. It's wild. You pick a Georgi Mihailovic is pretty darn good because honestly, he loves playing against LAFC. Since his time he was with Colorado, Chris, I mean, he's got 4 goals and 1 assist in the 5 matches across all competitions. We also got to tally that 1 goal that he had as a member of the Chicago Fire against LAFC. So a very, very good pick. 8 goals, 3 assists on the season. Yeah, he's their leader across all fronts. As far as my player to watch, since you took Mihailovic, it's got to be Mr. Navarro himself. Navarro, their second leading scorer, 7 goals and 1 assist. He's having a good run of form as of late, having scored the lone goal in the Rapids' last game, a 2-1 loss against Sporting Kansas City. He ranks high as far as goals permitted, expected goals per 90. I mean, he creates a lot of big opportunities, and he is, without a doubt, one of the key components for the attack. He's not so much a distributor as he's only got 1 assist on the season, but like Mihailovic, the kid can find the back of the net pretty well. And this is a team that's only scored 24 goals. You do the math, 8 goals have occurred from Mihailovic. 7 goals have come by way of Navarro, and they don't have very many goal scorers. In fact, they only have 5 goal scorers that have 3 or more. Darren Yappy and Calvin Harris would be the other players that we need to mention. Actually, hold on. I stand corrected. It's only 4. And there's Cole Bassett. And the best name on the Colorado Rapids, Keegan Rosenberry, with a goal in his own right. So that's the story as far as that's concerned. So those are our players to watch for Colorado. For me, it's very simple. Time and time again, if we're going to win this season, and I hate to sound like a broken record, until somebody can score more consistently, for me, it's going to be Denny Bwanga. Denny Bwanga is 1 goal shy of being hitting 50 regular season goals in Major League Soccer. He's also making a push, by the way, for the All-Star Game captaincy. He's one of 4 nominees, but I doubt anybody's not going to vote for Messi as far as that's concerned. But Denny, once again, just to kind of give you an idea what he's done, he's scored 8 goals and registered 4 assists. That's 12 goals contributions in the last 10 MLS games going back to April 12th. So when we were on that streak of unbeaten, which obviously consisted of a lot of draws, Denny Bwanga was the guy to do it. He is our talisman. He is our best player. He's on the verge of scoring 50 goals in 90 games. There's not that many players in Major League Soccer that have done that. He's on a short list for so many things. And if you look currently this season, he's number 1 as far as shots in MLS, but more importantly, number 2 in shots on target. Denny consistently finds the accuracy. And while many people complain that he's a ball hog, the fact of the matter is, and I've said this time and time again, Steve is giving him the green light to fire at will. And if nobody else is going to score, it's got to be Denny Bwanga. He's not that far away from surpassing Carlos Vela as the all-time leading scorer in LAFC history. And I'm telling you, he's going to do it. He's going to go down as LAFC's most potent scoring threat. But the one thing Carlos Vela will absolutely torches Denny Bwanga in would be the goal contributions. Carlos Vela had a lot of assists, a heck of a lot more than Denny Bwanga, but I still rest my case. Denny Bwanga is going to go down as the all-time leading scorer and the best scorer that LAFC's had, and he's going to be an important part of our game tomorrow. If he does not get involved offensively, we will not win.
Yeah, but you know what I think is the closer race between Denny Bwanga and Carlos Vela? Who's the better comedic actor? We saw it last season with DoorDash and their the jersey number and the 99. Denny Bwanga was constantly looking for the 99 for the goal scoring discount. And then today, LAFC just dropped a new commercial with Mia Hamm and Carlos Vela promoting Waymo as a way to get to BMO Stadium. If you haven't seen that, go on their main Instagram page and check it out. Carlos did pretty good in it, and so did Mia, by the way. But I just wanted to point that out. They got a lot more in common, those two, than just scoring a lot of goals for LAFC.
Yep.
I like to see it. I like to see it.
Comments in the chat, ISIS. Even though you're super late, you got to go back to at least listen to my little limerick. I think that's already been my favorite part of the pod. But yes, we are excited about Giorgio Chiellini. Just to have him back at BMO, just to have him involved. He's just nothing but an aura of positivity, but more importantly, success. And it's great to have somebody like him back in the fold. We were much better with Giorgio than we were without him. All right, let's get into our score, or not score predictions, keys to the game.
All right. What I put there is get familiar fast, and I alluded to it earlier. We lost Marlon on the back line. He was becoming more of a consistent presence on our back line at this point in the season recently. And I just think that no matter who we slot back there now and who we have subbing in, we're going to have to make sure that those changes don't cause any disruption in the chemistry and the effectiveness of our defensive back line, and make sure that Hugo is protected. And I just want to make sure that now also on the offense with Giroud, Giroud gone, who in the same way has been getting a lot more minutes and getting a lot more play as of recent. Now with him gone, we're going to have to make sure that our flow and our rhythm and our chemistry is just not disrupted up front. So the one thing that I want to look for tomorrow is how we're responding, how we're gelling, the chemistry between the team out there. We're coming off of a major tournament, and I think we're still trying to find our legs back in MLS play regardless. But then with the roster changes, I think that throws a big wrench in the plans, and that's a big variable to account for. So what I'm going to be looking for tomorrow is how well we play together and how much that doesn't or does affect what Colorado is able to sneak in on us. If we can really gel tomorrow, like I think we're capable of, I think we're going to lock Colorado down.
I hope we found our legs. We've had a little bit of time off. So if we haven't found our legs with all this time off, oh no. All right. As far as my keys to the game, look, back in 1996, there was a movie called Space Jam. The only Space Jam, as far as I am concerned. Forget the debate about who is better between Michael Jordan or LeBron James as a player. The fact of the matter is that Michael Jordan was way better, and Space Jam, the original, was way better than this LeBron James mess. And I bring Hit 'em High, because that was a song sang two-part by one of LAFC's super fans, Be Real, of the band Cypress Hill. Of course, LL Cool J, a couple other people. And what I mean by hit 'em high, hit 'em high, hit 'em high, hit 'em high, going straight for the goal. Colorado ain't got no game. When I'm talking about, you didn't really have to go out and get the props there, Carrot Top. For those not watching, Chris Lafferty had to get his black and red Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls jersey. And as a Knicks fan, I still get PTSD looking at that. But
when it brought it up.
Yeah, all right, fine. I was just talking about Space Jam. But anyway, what I mean by hit 'em high is high press them, man. Force this team into making mistakes and building from the back. They like to slow down the tempo. They've done it time and time again. If we could start to rattle them and not really let them build out of the back, I think that would serve us extremely well. I don't think that Colorado has the horses in their stable that LAFC does. And now with a break and not having played over the weekend, I do feel that we have our legs that you were alluding to, that we've hopefully found. And that with a high press, that looks to be the way that I would go about it. I'm not an X's and O's kind of coach. In fact, I've often debated whether or not to go out and get a coach's license just to make myself more effective tactically on broadcasts and podcasts. But I already got enough on my plate. I think you high press the hell out of them, force them to make stupid mistakes, and then beat them the way that we've beaten teams in the past, on the counter. If we can execute that and be a lot better about not allowing set piece goals, I think we got a damn good shot. That being the case, let's move on to our score prediction, starting with Mr.
And
Lafferty.
while you do that, and while before I get into my prediction, it's up on the screen here. But for our listeners out there, this is why you got to watch us on YouTube and really get the video version of it. Especially looking in the chat here, I got to address a couple of things. First of all, you got who was it, Coog or Smurdy, commenting on my form with my hooks. When you said hit them high, I started swinging. Well, look, usually I have better form with that, but I'm just worried about hitting my camera, so I had to kind of keep it compact. So look, there was a reason for it, but there's a lot of shenanigans going on, especially related to the chat. It's the most fun part for me of the broadcast, aside from being here with my friends. But yeah, so I just wanted to point that out. Love to everybody in the chat. But back to it. You were talking about hit them high. I think we're going to hit them high, and we're going to hit them 3 times, my friend. I think we're going to find the back of that goal. Look, Denny Bawanga, the last time we played Colorado was in the beginning of the season. And Denis Bouanga in the beginning of the season was like a whole nother player, just not anything like he has been as of late. I think, he found his form. It took a little bit for him to get going. Same thing we saw last year. And then he took off like a bat out of hell. And I think now Colorado is just not going to be prepared for the Denny Bouanga that they're going to see tomorrow. The one that they saw earlier in the season is just not the same guy anymore. So I think we're really going to go at them, and I think that our offense is going to be unrelenting. I think one of those goals is going to come from an opportunistic Ryan Hollingshead taking advantage of that defense kind of condensing. He's going to really make them spread out more than they're capable of. And I think that we're going to find the back of the net 3 times. I put that one up there just to be good sportsmanship. But I really think that with the goal scoring prowess and potential that LAFC brings compared to what the offensive output of Colorado, with their leading goal scorer having 8 compared to Denny Bouanga that we have, I really just think that if our defense gels like I know they can, we're going to shut them down. Maybe one sneaks by, just given the variable I talked about in my keys to the match. But I think LAFC's got this one, man. I think we're going to see a handful, or we're going to see a few get put in the back of the net tomorrow and really give us something to cheer about as we look to turn this thing around and go in and get a lot of momentum for this big stretch that we're going to have going into the end of the season. 3-1, LAFC. Bank on it, baby.
I like it. I appreciate the enthusiasm, but with the way that they've been scoring as of late, I can't count on them putting 3 in the back of the net. I think that's a bit too bullish, a bit too optimistic for my liking. But that being said, I don't think that we lose this game. I think we obviously win it. We continue undefeated against Colorado at home. Again, I hope I haven't jinxed us. We have yet to lose a game at home against Colorado. Now, 2-1 is going to be the score, and I think it's going to be a tightly contested game. And then we're going to have Denny Bouanga do magic in the last few minutes of the game. And here's a fun statistic for you. Since he came onto the team in 2022, Denny has scored 6 goals in the 90th minute or later across all competitions. And 3 out of those 6, by the way, have come in the year 2025. That being said, because he's the only flipping goal scorer on this team, I'm predicting more or less the same. It's going to be a close game. And then in crunch time, Denny Bouanga is going to score the game winner, giving him 6 goals that he scored 90 plus or later since joining LAFC in 2022. And again, if there is no Denny, there is no offense. I haven't been proven otherwise. And at some point, I would like to stick Exhibit A, which is my shoe, and Exhibit B, my mouth. Keep those receipts. But until somebody can start being consistent and not let it all be Denny, we're going to have low-scoring games, and Denny's going to have to shoulder the offensive workload like he has been for quite some time. 2-1 LAFC wins in the final moments of the game.
Yeah, in the chat, Smurdy says, I say 2-1, but we play like 4-0. Hey, look, that's a good point, because how many games have we seen where we've gone, oh man, I really think that we could have had this, we could have tied that game, like the Chelsea game, all the what ifs, the what could have been, the man, we almost had it. I think that's a good point to bring up, is that while Denis Bouanga has been pretty much our primary goal scorer, and I would love to see more output from a lot of our other guys, the thing is, we're getting opportunities from a lot of other people. They're just not going in, and we're just not finding the connections that we need to. So if we can really put it together and have these guys, maybe sneak one by, take advantage of a mismatch, or really just catch somebody off guard. Hey, look, maybe things are going to start looking up for some of these other guys, and hopefully, like we talked about with Martinez and Ordaz, looking to solidify themselves and kind of elevate their game. Hopefully, that's going to lead in our favor tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'd like to see also a little more from Jeremy Ebobisse. He's got himself 3 goals on the season, but I know he's still capable of so much more. All right, so tomorrow, again, we're taking on the Colorado Rapids. The first 10,000 that get in, get another one of these bad mamma jammas. Hello, friggin' kitty. And if you see me, I'll be easy to spot because I'll probably be the only, I can't say I'll be the only one, but I'm going to have this really, really flamboyantly pink, because, a flamingo is pink. Platinum-haired flamingo is me. This pink Hello Kitty jersey, baseball jersey. That scarf actually got me for one of the kickball tournaments a year or two ago. I've lost track as to which one that was. But if you see me, stop me, and depending on where we are with how much time, I'll buy you a beer. Now, even more so if we're in Founders Club, because, if you're in Founders Club, if you know, I'll gladly buy you a beer there. But other than that, Chris,
in Founders Club, I'll buy you a beer too.
Yeah, fair enough. Before we let the millions and millions go, any final thoughts?
I just want to say, look, one thing that I wanted to throw out there was, I know there was a lot of chat about disappointment when the Austin match was canceled, and yes, it's going to put us backload our schedule even more so than it already was. I just always encourage everybody when they comment online to keep a little perspective about the situation at hand. I also want to just say to everybody, I don't want to harp on that part, but looking forward to being back. I've had to miss the last few couple matches there with different things going on, etc. So I'm excited to get back to BMO. Excited to see you tomorrow. I'm going to be joining you up in Founders, but I'll be taking a walk around as well. It's just, damn, I'm looking forward to being back at BMO tomorrow, man. I love LAFC. I love being there. God, I've been away for a while. I'm just happy to be back with all y'all. Thank you.
Happy that you're back here. Welcome back, my friend. Your enthusiasm is infectious. I love the optimism, and it's good stuff. All right, folks. That's all the time we have. I said I didn't want to do this more than 20 minutes, and here we are, 32. All good, but we hope you enjoyed this episode of One More Sleep. Again, if you've watched us on YouTube, I mean, there's 13,000 Defenders followers across all platforms. Let's try to boost the YouTube subscribers above 1,000. We're still at like 964. I got to do some kind of a contest at some point. We had 1,000. I don't know. I'll give you my ticket in Founders Club for whatever game we get close to. I don't know. We got to figure something out, but make sure that, you check us out on YouTube, subscribe to us, follow us there. Obviously, we're on Apple, on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, a whole bunch of other mediums. Tell your friends, tell your families, and if you happen to be on Twitter and you see that Fabian Frankel thing and you want to give us a little love, I won't necessarily be upset about that. We've been at this since 2018. I know we're at episode 350, whatever, but with all the One More Sleeps, we really are a lot closer to 500. So let them all know that y'all still love Defenders of the Bank, and we are an OG pod here in this LAFC fam, after all, along with Hard LAFC. And obviously, we have a lot of great podcasts in the LAFC pod fam, a lot of phenomenal ones. But I'm going to talk about this one right here because, well, it's been the one I've been part of the longest, the one I've enjoyed the most. So another beloved, y'all, and we'll see you all Manyanni. And if I can figure out how to do this stupid goodbye thing, aha, there it is.